Welcome back to FluentX English Speaking Podcast. I'm Mike, and today we're going to talk about something that almost every English learner feels nervous about. Airports. Yes, airports. Big places, so many people, announcements everywhere, fast English, different accents, and that small fear inside your chest saying, "What if I don't understand?" If you've ever felt that, you're not alone.
Absolutely, Mike. Even confident English learners feel nervous at airports because it's not just English, it's pressure. You feel rushed, you don't want to make a mistake, you don't want to look confused, and sometimes your mind goes completely blank. But today, we're going to slow everything down.
Exactly. Today's episode is called How to Talk Confidently at the Airport in English. And this is not about perfect grammar. This is not about fancy words. This is about calm English, real English, human English, the kind of English that helps you breathe, stand straight, and speak with quiet confidence.
Mike, before we even talk about sentences, I think we should talk about mindset. Because many learners think, I need better English to feel confident, but actually, confidence comes first.
That's such an important point. Confidence is not loud. Confidence is not fast. Confidence is calm. At the airport, native speakers are not judging your English. They are busy. They are tired. They want to finish their job and help you move forward. So the first thing we want our listeners to remember is this: you are allowed to speak slowly.
Yes, and you are allowed to think. You don't need to rush. You don't need to speak like a movie character. Even if your sentence is simple, if you say it calmly, people understand you.
Let's imagine this moment. You arrive at the airport. You enter the building. You see signs everywhere. And you're holding your passport and ticket. Your heart rate goes up just a little. This is normal. The first English you might need is very simple. For example, if a security officer asks you something like, "Where are you flying today?" You don't need a long answer. You can say, "I'm flying to London." That's it.
And notice something important here. Native speakers don't expect stories. They expect clear information. So even one calm sentence is enough. Another common question is this your first time flying? And you can simply say, "Yes, it is." Or, "No, I've flown before." No stress, no pressure.
Now let's talk about the check-in counter. This is where many learners feel the most nervous. You stand in line, you watch other people speaking fast English, and your mind starts creating fear. But here's the truth. The conversation at the check-in counter is very predictable.
Exactly. Airport staff ask the same questions again and again and again, every single day. Let's walk through it slowly.
The first thing the staff member usually says is, "Hello, may I see your passport, please?" You can respond calmly, "Sure," or "Here you go." Simple, natural, polite. Then they may ask, "Where are you flying today?" And again, one calm sentence, "I'm flying to New York," or "My final destination is Toronto." Either is fine. Next question is very common. Do you have any bags to check in? This question scares many learners, but the answer is easy. You can say, "Yes, I have one bag," or "No, I only have a carry-on." No extra explanation needed.
Now, this part is very important. What if you don't understand the question? First, don't panic. Second, don't say yes if you're not sure. You are allowed to ask again. You can say, "Sorry, could you repeat that, please?" Or, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that." These sentences are power sentences.
Yes, because they show confidence, not weakness. Confident people ask for clarity, and airport staff are used to repeating. After that, The staff may say something like, "Would you like a window seat or an aisle seat?" You don't need to explain your life story. You can say, "A window seat, please," or "An aisle seat is fine." Polite, calm, clear.
They may also say, "Here is your boarding pass," or "Your gate number is 32B," and you can simply reply, "Thank you." That's enough.
Sometimes, very sometimes, the staff may say something friendly, like, "Is this a business trip or a vacation?" This is not a test. You can answer simply, "It's a vacation," or "I'm traveling for work."
And you don't have to continue the conversation. But if you want to sound relaxed, you can add, "I'm really looking forward to it." That's all.
Let's pause emotionally for a moment. If you've made it through check-in, you've already done something big. You spoke English. You understood. You responded. That is success.
Yes, confidence grows from moments like this, not from perfection, but from experience. And every airport conversation makes the next one easier.
So in this first part, we talked about arriving at the airport, check-in counter conversations, staying calm when you don't understand. In the next part, we'll talk about security checks, immigration questions, and how to stay confident under pressure.
Take a deep breath. You're learning, you're improving, and you're doing better than you think.
Welcome back. If you're listening to this episode from the beginning, take a moment and notice something. You've already imagined yourself arriving at the airport. You've already checked in. You've already spoken English. That means your confidence has already started growing. Now, in this part, we move to the two areas that make most English learners nervous: security and immigration.
Yes, this is where people usually say, "My English disappears. My hands start shaking. I forget simple words." And that's okay, because pressure changes how the brain works. But today, we're going to remove that pressure.
Before we talk about sentences, let's talk about emotions. Security and immigration feel serious. People in uniform, strong voices, clear rules, and your mind starts thinking, "What if I say something wrong?" Here's the truth. Security officers are not English teachers. Immigration officers are not looking for perfect grammar. They are listening for clear meaning.
Exactly. They want simple answers, honest answers, calm answers, not long explanations. So the goal here is not to impress. The goal is to communicate calmly.
Let's imagine the security area. You put your bag on the belt. You see signs. You hear short instructions. Security English is very direct. You might hear, "Please remove your laptop," or "Take off your shoes." You don't need to reply with full sentences. You can simply nod and do the action.
Yes, but sometimes they ask small questions. For example, "Do you have any liquids?" You can say, "Yes, I do," or "No, I don't." That's enough.
Now, this happens a lot. The area is noisy. People are moving. Announcements are playing. If you don't hear clearly, don't freeze. You can say, "Sorry?" or "Could you say that again, please?" These are not weak sentences. They are confident sentences.
And remember, saying nothing is more confusing than asking again. So asking for repetition is actually helpful for both of you.
After security, you walk toward immigration. This is the moment where many people feel their chest tighten. Let's slow this moment down. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to think. You are allowed to speak slowly.
Yes,
And here's something important to remember. Immigration questions are limited. They don't ask random things. They follow a pattern. Once you know the pattern, fear becomes smaller.
The officer may start with hello or good morning. You can reply hello or good morning, polite and calm. Then they usually ask, what is the purpose of your visit? This question sounds big, but the answer is simple. You can say, I'm here for tourism, or I'm visiting family, or I'm here for business.
And notice something. You don't need to explain your whole plan, just the purpose. One sentence is enough.
Another common question is, how long will you be staying? You can answer like this: for 1 week, for 10 days, for 2 months. Clear, short, calm.
They may also ask, where will you be staying? You can say, at a hotel, or with a friend. If needed, you can add, I have the address. You don't need to speak fast. Take your time.
Sometimes the officer may say, can I see your return ticket? Or, do you have hotel booking confirmation? You can say, yes, here it is. Or, sure, one moment. And you hand over the document. That's all.
This is not an interview. It's a process, and you are moving through it step by step.
Let's talk about something human. What if your voice shakes? What if your heart beats fast? That doesn't mean you're failing. That means you care.
Yes. Here's a small mental trick. When you answer, slow your breathing slightly. Lower your voice just a little. Speak fewer words. This automatically makes you sound more confident.
This moment scares many people. The officer stops talking. They type on the computer. They don't smile. This is normal. Silence does not mean trouble. Just wait calmly. Look relaxed. Stand naturally.
And when they finish, they may say, enjoy your stay, or you may proceed. You can reply, thank you. And that's it.
At this moment, you've done something powerful. You navigated security. You spoke English at immigration. You stayed calm. That's growth.
And the next time, this will feel easier. Confidence comes from experience, not from perfection.
In this part, we talked about security check English, immigration questions, staying calm under pressure. In the next and final part, we'll talk about boarding gates, announcements, asking for help, delays, and understanding different accents.
You're doing great. Keep going.
Welcome back. One last time. If you've stayed with us until now, take a quiet moment and notice something. You've already walked through the airport in your mind. You've already spoken English at check-in. You've already passed security and immigration. That means the hardest part is already behind you. In this final part, we're going to talk about the last stages of the airport journey, the part where your confidence usually starts coming back.
Yes, this is the stage where English becomes less stressful, because now you're closer to your seat, closer to rest, closer to your destination. So let's slow it down and move forward calmly.
After immigration, you usually look for your gate. You may check the screen. You may feel unsure for a moment. If you need help, you can ask airport staff very simply. You can say, "Excuse me, where is gate 24?" That's a perfect sentence.
And if you want to sound a little more relaxed, you can add, could you please tell me where gate 24 is? Notice something important. You don't need perfect grammar. You need clear intention.
Now you reach your gate. You sit down. You place your bag next to you. You finally feel a little calmer. Sometimes airport staff may come near and ask, "Are you flying to Paris?" You can answer, "Yes, I am." That's it.
They may also say, "Boarding will start in about 20 minutes." You don't need to respond, but if you want to be polite, you can say, "Okay, thank you." Smile in your voice.
Now let's talk about announcements. This is where many learners feel nervous again. Fast English, echoing voices, unclear pronunciation. Here's the truth. You don't need to understand every word. You only need to listen for key words.
Yes, words like boarding, gate number, delayed, final call, group number. If you hear your gate number and destination, you're doing fine.
When boarding begins, staff may say, "Group A may board now." If you're unsure, you can calmly ask, "Is this the line for Group A?" This is confident English.
When it's your turn, they may say, "May I see your boarding pass?" You can reply, "Sure," or "Here you go." No pressure, no rush.
When you enter the plane, the flight attendant may smile and say, "Hello." You can say, "Hello," or "Good evening." That's enough.
They might also say, "Your seat is on the left." You don't need to reply. Just smile and walk calmly.
If you're confused about your seat, you can ask, "Excuse me, is this seat 18A?" That's a clear, polite question.
If you need help with luggage, you can say, "Could you help me with this, please?" This is very natural English. Flight attendants are there to help you.
When safety instructions begin, the language may sound formal. You don't need to understand everything. Just relax. Watch. Listen lightly.
And remember, even native speakers don't listen carefully every time, so give yourself permission to relax.
Sometimes things don't go perfectly. A delay, a seat issue, a small problem. If there is a delay, you may hear, "The flight has been delayed." You don't need to react emotionally. You can calmly ask staff, "Do you know how long the delay will be?" That's it.
If there's a seating issue, you can say, "I think there's a problem with my seat." Notice the tone. Calm, respectful, clear.
One more important thing. At airports, you hear many accents: British, American, European, Asian. If you don't understand, it's not your fault.
You can always say, "I'm sorry, could you say that a little more slowly?" This sentence is powerful. It protects your confidence.
Let's take a deep emotional moment here. You entered the airport. You spoke English. You asked questions. You understood enough. You handled pressure. That means you are capable.
Yes, English is no longer just a subject for you. It's a tool, a bridge, a way to move through the world.
From now on, don't say, "I'm bad at English." Say, "I can handle real conversations," because you can.
Confidence doesn't mean you know everything. Confidence means you stay calm when you don't.
This brings us to the end of today's episode. How to talk confidently at the airport in English. You don't need perfect English. You need calm English, clear English, human English.
And every journey you take makes your English stronger. Be patient with yourself. You're growing.